Let's make my Fusion Gridlock table runner using only a single charm pack. Also, feel free to expand on this pattern if you would like to make it for a larger quilt size, but for the fabrics I am using Kama by Zen Chic for Moda Fabrics. Now do note this is an older collection, so it may not be available at this time. But with your charm pack, you are going to separate your 5-inch squares into two 20 count piles. Now, since this collection has a equal amount of grayscale prints and also bright citrus colors, I'm going to be selective with my prints by selecting 20 bright colors and trimming them down to 4.5-inch squares. Now you can just trim the edges, or you can place a 4.5-inch square ruler in the center and then trim all the way around, but either way, just trim them down. Then with the remaining 20 gray scale print 5-inch squares, you are going to subcut them into 2.5-inch squares. You will get 4 2.5-inch squares per each 5-inch square. Now once everything is cut, you are going to select 4 2.5-inch squares in mixed prints and sew them together to form a 2.5-inch by 8.5-inch rectangle. Now you'll just repeat this step until you've made a total of 20 2.5-inch by 8.5-inch rectangles. Now to keep this video short, I went ahead and just created 2 rectangles at this time, because next you are going to then take 2 4.5-inch print squares and place them together like so to create your quilt block. Then we're going to sew the 4.5-inch squares together to form a row, and then lastly sew all our rows together to complete a 8.5-inch square quilt block. Now you're just going to repeat these steps until you've made a total of 10 quilt blocks. Now that all of your blocks are made, you're going to lay each block side by side in a 2x5 block layout. Now you're going to sew your blocks together to form rows, and then lastly sew those rows together to complete your table runner. And here's what my Fusion Gridlock table runner looks like all finished. Now for the backing, I am using this green print from within the collection. And as for the thread choice, I am going with glide thread in limerick, as I really love the look of it from my Technic Tangle quilt pattern, which I will have a link for down below in the description. And here's what my quilt looks like all quilted. I used Carly Porter's graffiti pattern for the quilting since it was perfect last time. And one charm pack will yield you a 16-inch by 40-inch table runner that you'll be able to whip up within a few hours. Now, I do hope you have enjoyed today's tutorial. If you could please take a moment to hit that like and subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you can be notified for your next amazing quilt project.